To watch these important lessons, subscribe to DP Education's YouTube channel right now. Click on the bell icon to stay updated on the latest lessons. Sri Lanka's largest free online school, DP Education.
Right, children. Now we are going to start the exercise chapter of this lesson. Now, as I told you all before, do all the exercises by yourself so that when I explain the answers, you can check whether your answers are correct or not. Right, children? Okay. So we are going to start by doing the exercises given in the textbook first, okay? Look at this picture. What is this? It's an avocado. A cross-section of an avocado is shown here. A cross-section of the earth consists of core, mantle and crust. We learn it in the lesson, right? Which sections of the avocado corresponds with above three areas? Now this is very easy. Just by looking at this picture, we can understand that which area corresponds with which part of the avocado, right? So when we consider the avocado, there are three main parts. The peel or the skin, and the flesh part, and the seed, right? So what can you tell about the peel? Isn't it similar to the crust of the earth? You all know when it comes to the crust of the earth, it is the thinnest layer, outermost thinnest layer. So we can consider that peel as the crust. So the innermost part is the seed here. So what is the seed then? That is the core, right? And what about the flesh part, children? That would be the mantle. Let's write. Which sections of the avocado corresponds with above three areas? Let's write. Crust, mantle, and core. So what is the crust? Peel. What is the mantle? The fleshy part. And what is the core? It's the seed. Right, children? So it's similar with the hard-boiled egg. So in a hard-boiled egg, the crust is the shell, mantle is the egg white, and core is the egg yolk, right? Okay, next one. Name 4 resources obtained by man from the earth crust. So the earth crust contains elements like oxygen, silicon, aluminium, right? And at the same time, man obtained different resources from the crust. What are they, children? Building materials or construction materials, minerals, different types of metals, fossil fuels, and the soil in the crust acts as a good habitat for animals. Now here the resources obtained by man, so we can't consider that one, right? And soil for agriculture, right? We can write those type of things. Let's write. Metals, fossil fuels, building materials, soil for agriculture, right? Metals, fossil fuels, building materials, soil for agriculture, minerals, right? On which tectonic plate Sri Lanka is situated? What is the tectonic plate where Sri Lanka is situated, children? That is Australian Indian tectonic plate, right? Why severe earthquakes do not occur in Sri Lanka? What type of countries experience severe earthquakes, children? The countries were located near tectonic plate margins, right? Because of the movement movement of the tectonic plates, those type of countries can feel it more than us, right? But Sri Lanka is not located near a tectonic plate margin. It's somewhere middle of the tectonic plate. Therefore, we don't experience that many earthquakes, okay? Let's write. On which tectonic plate Sri Lanka is situated? On Australian, Indian tectonic plate. On Australian Indian tectonic plate, right? We'll consider this A and B. This is for A, this is for B. Why severe earthquakes do not occur in Sri Lanka? Because Sri Lanka is not located near a margin of or boundary of tectonic plates. Right. Why severe earthquakes do not occur in Sri Lanka? Because Sri Lanka is not located near the margin of its tectonic plate, right? Number 3. State 2 methods used by geologists to obtain information about the internal structure of the earth. Now, internal structure is not somewhere we can reach. Anyone can reach. Therefore, we have to get information by different other means. So, in the beginning of the lesson, we discussed that how geologists get information about the inner layers or inner parts of the earth. What are those methods, children? Number 1, by studying earthquakes, right? By studying earthquakes or seismic waves, scientists or geologists can get information about the inner parts of the earth, right? And what is the other method, children? They can study the rocks that brought during the volcanic eruptions, right? Some rocks come to the surface of the volcanic eruption, so geologists can study and they can get an idea about the inner parts of the earth, okay? Let's write. Number 1. By examining earthquakes. So there we learned that in order to examine earthquakes, special instruments, special meters called seismometers are used. Okay, so seismometers are installed in different parts of the earth and it can sense different earthquakes and the strength of the earthquakes as well, okay? Right. Number 2. By examining the rocks brought to the surface of the earth during volcanic eruptions. Right, children? State 2 methods used by geologists to obtain information about the internal structure of the earth. By examining earthquakes, by examining the rocks brought to the surface of the earth during volcanic eruptions. Okay? Right. State 3 countries where earthquakes occur frequently. There are many countries that experience earthquakes all the time. What are these countries? We all know that Japan experiences these type of earthquakes. Okay? And China also experiences, Indonesia, Philippines, right? And USA. And the upper part of India also experiences. Okay, children? Nepal is another country. Let's write. We had to write 3 countries. Japan, Indonesia, China, the USA. You can write those names, okay? Right. We have completed the exercise given in the textbook. Now we are going to do some more additional exercises in order to improve your knowledge, okay? Right. Exercise number 1. Underline the most suitable answers. So these type of questions are known as MCQ, multiple choice questions, right? So these type of questions generally has 4 answers. So you have to read all 4 answers and you have to underline the most correct answer, okay? Right. Select the incorrect statement. Tectonic plates move 5 to 10 centimeters per year. Is this correct, children? What is how much it moves per year, children? About 1 to 2 centimeters, right? Because it moves only that much, we can't feel the movement of the tectonic plates, okay? So tectonic plates move 5 to 10 centimeters per year is not correct. But we are going to read all the other answers, right? Due to 2 adjacent tectonic plates moving apart, a deep gulf could occur. That's true. When there are 2 adjacent tectonic plates, when they move apart, what is this type of movement called? Divergent movement, okay? A deep gulf could occur. That's true. During volcanic eruptions, different types of rocks are brought to the surface of the earth. That's also true. There are rocks present in the lower parts of the inner parts of the earth are brought up during the volcanic eruptions, right? The core of the earth is made up of molten iron and nickel metals. Yes. Now core has 2 parts, outer core and inner core. So the outer core contains molten iron and nickel metals, right? So what is the incorrect statement? The first one, tectonic plates move 5 to 10 centimeters per year. Number 2. The most abundant element in the core of the earth is, the core is made up of iron and nickel, right? Oxygen and silicon present in the crust, okay, and even the mantle. Magnesium and aluminium, no. Iron and nickel, magnesium and silicon. Magnesium and silicon present in the mantle of the earth. So iron and nickel is the answer. Right. Next one. Number 3. Select the incorrect statement. Information about the nature of the inner part of the earth is received by examining earthquakes. That's true. By examining the strength of the seismic waves, we can get an idea about the earthquakes, and by examining the speed of the seismic waves too, right? The mantle is the outermost layer of the earth. What is the outermost layer, children? The outermost, thinnest layer is the crust, then mantle, the innermost layer is the core. So therefore, this second is not correct. The earth's crust consists of rocks and soil. That's true, right? The thickness of the core is about 3,500 kilometers. That's also true. That is the thickest layer, right? So the answer is, the mantle is the outermost layer of the earth. That's the incorrect statement. Number 4. The tectonic plate on which Sri Lanka is located is, what is the tectonic plate? Australian Indian tectonic plate. The other answers, Pacific plate, European tectonic plate, Philippine tectonic plate, no. The answer is Australian Indian tectonic plate. Right. Number 5. Most of the tectonic plate boundaries are at the, where are they? Most of the tectonic plate boundaries are at the bottom of the sea. Island boundaries between the continent, places where the rivers fall into the ocean. The most correct answer is bottom of the sea. Right. Number 6. Fossil fuel is extracted from which part? There are 3 layers of the earth. Outermost layer is the crust, then mantle and the core. Fossil fuels present in the crust, the outermost part, right? Upper mantle, lower mantle, core, they are not the answers. Crust is the answer. Next one. Number 7. The earthquake on 25th April 2015 in Kathmandu, Nepal occurred on the which plate, children? Pacific and North American plate margins, Eurasian and North American plate margins, Eurasian and Indian plate margin, Philippine and Pacific plate margins. The answer number is 3. Eurasian and Indian plate margins. Right. Number 8. The layer or layers of the earth that contains molten rocks is Now, what are the 3 layers of the earth, children? Again, now you all are very familiar. The crust, the mantle, and the core. Right? So, when you consider the crust, what happens, children? The crust is the thinnest layer of the earth. Right? So, there, molten rocks won't present because it is the outermost layer. It is made up of rocks and soil. What about the second layer, which means the mantle? Mantle has 2 parts, upper mantle and lower mantle. Upper mantle has solid rocks, but because of the high temperature, lower mantle consists of the molten rocks, right? Lower mantle consists of molten rocks. And at the same time, when you consider the core, there are 2 areas of the core called inner core and outer core. Now, because of the high temperature, outer core also contains molten rocks. So, when you consider the innermost layer, that is the core. So, when you consider the core also has 2 areas, inner core and outer core. Now, the outer core, because of very high temperature, the outer core consists of molten iron and nickel. Right? It cannot present as solid itself because the temperature is very high. But when you consider the inner core, there are also temperatures very, very high, actually the highest. But because of the very high pressure present, it's present as solid. Okay, children? In that case, what is the part of the earth that contains molten rocks? Molten rocks present in the lower mantle. Even though when we consider the outer core, the mixture is present as molten or with the liquid, it's present actually iron and nickel. It's not rocks. Therefore, the answer is mantle. Right, children? Next one. Exercise number 2. You had to write the answers for the questions. What are the 3 layers of the earth? We all know now very well. What are the 3 layers? Let's write. Right. Outermost layer is the crust, then the mantle, and the innermost layer is the core. Right? What happens to the temperature and pressure as you go deeper into the earth? What happens, children? From outside to inside, from the crust to the core, when you go, what happens to the temperature? Increases, right? So when you consider the temperature of the inner core, the temperature is more than 5000 degrees Celsius. Right, children? So what happens to the pressure? Pressure also increases as you go in and in. Okay? So what happens to the temperature and pressure as you go deeper into the earth? The temperature temperature and pressure increase. Temperature and pressure increase, right? Next one. What are the elements found in the Earth's crust? What are the elements, children? Aluminium, oxygen, silicon, iron also present, right? We will write basically oxygen, aluminium, silicon present. Right? The mantle has two layers. What are they? I told you all, sometimes when you read other books, you will find out there are two layers of the mantle, upper mantle and lower mantle. Upper mantle is made up of solid rocks, lower mantle is made up of molten rocks, right? Upper mantle, two layers. Let's write 1, 2. Upper mantle, lower mantle. Upper mantle and lower mantle, okay? Next one. Which layer of the earth is divided into tectonic plates? Which layer? The outermost layer, the crust, right? The crust. Number 2. Where are the most tectonic plate boundaries located? The tectonic plate boundaries or tectonic plate margins most of the time located where, children? At the bottom of the oceans, right? At the bottom of the oceans, and sometimes they located or they present on the land also. Those times we can observe them clearly. Okay, so where are most tectonic plate boundaries located? At the bottom of the sea. At the bottom of the sea. At the bottom of the sea, right? Number 5, question number 1. How did the tsunami, which brought severe destruction to the coastal areas of Sri Lanka in 2004 occur? So I explained y'all in 2014, 26th of December, a tsunami occurred in Sri Lanka, right? Why did that? How did that happen, children? Because of an earthquake occurred near Sumatra Islands. Okay, so therefore because of this one, a lot of people died. About 40,000 of people died. A lot of people lost their properties. Okay, so how did the tsunami, which brought severe destruction to the coastal areas of Sri Lanka in 2004 occur? Because of an earthquake. Earthquake occurred near the Sumatra Islands. Near the Sumatra Islands. Okay? How do geologists obtain information about the nature of the inner part of the earth? Now we know there are different ways that geologists can obtain information about the inner part of the earth, even though we cannot reach those areas, okay? By examining earthquakes, by examining the rocks that and sometimes the minerals that brought to the surface of the earth during volcanic eruptions, okay? Those are the main methods. Let's write. By examining earthquakes or seismic waves. By examining rocks brought to the surface of the earth during volcanic eruptions. Right? By examining earthquakes or seismic waves, by examining the rocks brought to the surface of the earth during volcanic eruptions. Okay? We'll move on to the next. Exercise number 6. What are tectonic plates? What is the meaning of tectonic plates? You all know now the earth crust is divided into large rocky plates. Okay, slabs of rocks, solid rocks. These are known as tectonic plates. Let's write. The crust of the earth is divided into large slabs of solid rocks. These are called tectonic plates. Right, children? The crust of the earth is divided into large slabs of solid rocks. These are called tectonic plates, right? What is plate tectonics? Now here tectonic plates. What is plate tectonics? I told you all these tectonic plates move relative to each other. Right, children? There are 3 different types of movements too. 3 ways that they can move. So the theory that describes the relative motion of tectonic plates is known as plate tectonics. Okay? Let's write. The theory that describes the movement of tectonic plates relative to each other is called plate tectonics. Right? The theory that describes the movement of tectonic plates relative to each other is called plate tectonics. Right, children? We'll move on to the next. Right. Exercise number 7. Complete the following table on the layers of earth. Right? We did something similar during the lesson. So the first column, layer of the earth, crust, mantle, core. Thickness, composition, elements present. Now we are very familiar with these type of things, right? So when we consider the crust, what is the thickness? When we consider the crust, the thickness is not even, right? When we consider about the ocean bottom, it's about 5 kilometers. The land area, it's about 35 kilometers. Therefore, let's write 5 kilometers to 35 kilometers. Composition, the crust is made up of rocks and soil, right? Rocks and soil. What are the elements present? Oxygen, silicon, aluminium. Basically, 80% of the crust contains these things, but the others also present. Gold, silver, those type of minerals also present, children. Okay, but basically these elements. Right. Mantle. What is the thickness of the mantle? 2,900 kilometers. Composition. It's made up of, the upper part is made up of solid rocks and the lower mantle is made up of molten rocks, right? We will write solid rocks and molten rocks. Right? Elements present: oxygen, silicon, magnesium, iron. Right? Finally, the core, the thickness, the thickest one. 3,500 kilometers. Composition. It has molten and solid both nickel and iron, right? Let's write. Outer core contains molten iron and nickel. What are the elements present? Iron, nickel. Right, children? So the crust thickness is 5 to 35 kilometers. Composition made up of rocks and soil. Elements present: oxygen, silicon, aluminium are the main elements present. Apart from that, iron, gold, silver, those also present. Copper, right? Mantle. Thickness is 2,900 kilograms. Composition: solid rocks and molten rocks present. Elements present: oxygen, silicon, magnesium and iron mainly, right? Core, the thickness is 3,500 kilograms. Composition: outer core contains molten iron and nickel because of the very high temperature, right? Elements present: iron and nickel, right? We'll move on to the next, right? Tectonic plates move relative to each other in 3 ways. What are they? Do you all remember? 2 plates can move always. 2 plates move relative to each other. The first method, the two plates or 2 tectonic plates move apart, move away from each other. This is known as divergent movement, right? Or the 2 plates move towards each other and then they meet and one go over the other, pressing the bottom one down. This type of movement is known as the convergent movement. And sometimes 2 plates close to each other can slide apart, right? So these are the 3 ways of movement of tectonic plates, okay? Right, what are they? Number 1, moving towards each other. Moving towards each other. This is known as convergent movement. Convergent. Number 2, moving away from each other. This is known as divergent movement. Number 3, slide past each other. This is known as transform movement. Right, children? Moving towards each other, moving away from each other, slide past each other, right? How much do the tectonic plates move per year? Very little, 1 to 2 centimeters, okay? 1 to 2 centimeters per year. Right, children? We'll move on to the next question. Right, exercise number 9. A diagram that shows the inner layers of the earth is given below. Now we know how to label this type of diagram. Very easy, right? Name A, B, C and D. What is A? The outermost layer, that is the crust. What is B, children? That is the mantle. C is outer core, D is inner core, right? Let's write A, crust. B, mantle. C, outer core. D, inner core. Right, children? Write 3 elements abundant in B. B means the mantle. 3 elements, let's write. Now you all know how to write. Oxygen, silicon, magnesium, and even iron. Right. What is the thickest layer? Thickest layer out of all 3 layers, the main 3 layers, the thickest layer is the core, right? So when you consider this diagram, thickest layer, now you can see C and D. C is outer core, D is inner core. So the thickest layer is the combination of C and D. Okay. Otherwise, if you take it separately out of these 4 layers, the thickest layer is B. But we all know that when we consider the main layers of the earth, we consider the 3 layers. The crust, the mantle and the core. So out of those 3 layers, core is the thickest layer. Therefore, we will consider C and D together, right? What is the thickest layer? C plus D, both, right? It is the core. Right, children? Okay. What is the thickness of the layer with the lowest thickness? What has the lowest thickness? A, which means the crust. What is the thickness of the crust, children? It depends, okay? It changes from place to place. In the ocean bottoms, it is about 5 kilometers. On the surface of the earth, it's about 35 kilometers. Therefore, we are going to write 5 kilometers to 35 kilometers. Right, children? The next one. Write 2 elements provided by A. 2 things provided by A. It provides fossil fuels, it provides construction materials, and it provides metals, right? We can write 2 elements. Fossil fuels, metals, and you can write the rest as well. Right, children? We'll move on to the next. Right. Exercise number 10. Briefly describe the following methods of the movement of tectonic plates. We all know now there are 3 ways of movement of tectonic plates. What are they? Convergent movement, divergent movement, and transform movement. Right? What is this one? You all can see these are the 2 plates. They move away from each other. What is this movement? This is known as the divergent movement. They go away from each other, right? So let's write divergent movement. Divergent movement. So what happens here? Two tectonic plates move away from each other. What is the result of this movement, children? Because of this movement, a deep gulf could occur, a trench could occur, okay? Due to this movement, a deep gulf could occur. Right, children? Look at the second one. What is this movement? They slide past each other. What is the name given to this type of movement, children? Transform movement. Okay? Let's write. This is transform movement. Transform movement. Two tectonic plates slide past each other. Right, children? What could be the result of this? This could result in an earthquake. Okay? Right. Due to this movement, an earthquake could occur. Right, children? Divergent movement. Two tectonic plates move away from each other. Due to this movement, a deep gulf could occur. Right? Transform movement. Two tectonic plates slide past each other. Due to this movement, an earthquake could occur. Right? We'll move on to the next. Right. Exercise number 11. Look at these diagrams. The cross-section of the earth consists of the core, mantle and crust. Those are the main layers. Which sections of the below diagrams correspond with the above three areas? Right? A hard-boiled egg, the first one given. Now we are familiar with these things, right? We discussed about the hard-boiled egg and also an avocado as well. Now we know the answer for this, right? So when you consider the hard-boiled egg, it has the shell, egg white, egg yolk. So we can consider that shell is the crust of the earth, egg white is the mantle of the earth, the middle layer, and the innermost layer, core, is the egg yolk, right? Let's write shell, egg white, egg yolk. Shell is the crust, egg white is the right. Shell is the crust, egg white is the mantle, egg yolk is the innermost one, the core. Right? The same way, when you consider the avocado, the peel, flesh and seed. Right? Peel, flesh and seed. Right. Veil is the outermost layer. Peel is the crust. Flesh or fleshy part is the mantle. And the seed is the core. Here shell is crust, egg white, mantle, egg yolk, the core, right? Here the peel, the crust, flesh is the mantle, seed is the core. So it was very, very easy, right? Okay, this is the last question of this lesson. Write the name of the layer of the earth that best matches the description given below, right? Look at number 1. The outermost layer of the earth. What is the outermost layer of the earth, children? That is the crust. The innermost layer of the earth, first crust, then mantle, and then core, right? The innermost layer is the core. The thickness is about 2,900 kilometers. What is this layer? Do you remember? Do you remember the thicknesses of each layer, children? Do you remember the thickness of the outermost layer, the crust? We know that crust, in some parts, it's about 5 kilometers. The other parts, the maximum is about 35 kilometers, right? So this can't be the crust. What about the core? Core is the thickest layer. Its thickness is about 3,500 kilometers. So 2,900 kilometers is the mantle, right? Mantle. Next one, the thinnest layer. What is the thinnest layer? Again, crust, the outermost layer. Right. Number 5. The upper part is made up of iron and nickel. So what is this about, children? Do you remember the layer that contains iron and nickel? That is the core. So what is this upper part means? The outer core. Therefore, what is this particular layer? That is the core. Right. The last one. Provides metals and fossil fuels. Which layer provides metals and fossil fuels? That is the crust, the outermost layer. Right. The outermost layer of the earth, crust. The innermost layer of the earth, core. The thickness is about 2,900 kilometers, mantle. The thinnest layer, also crust. The upper part is made up of iron and nickel. It's the core. Provides metals and fossil fuels. Again, crust. So we have completed the entire lesson. So we learned a lot of new things in this lesson. I hope you all have an understanding about the different layers of the earth, about the tectonic plates, and also about the plate tectonics. Right, children? And we did a lot of questions under this lesson. I hope you all have done a good job in answering the questions. So if you made any mistake, read the particular lesson of the textbook and watch the particular part of the lesson and try to answer the same questions again.
To watch these important lessons, subscribe to DP Education's YouTube channel right now. Click on the bell icon to stay updated on the latest lessons. Sri Lanka's largest free online school, DP Education.